Good thing YouTube just like hid dislikes, because now I don't have to see the high number after that shit show. Hello everyone and welcome to the very rare Blue Moon reading wrap-up.
Finally, thank you, girl.
Essentially sharing my thoughts and star ratings 1 out of 5 on all the books I've read recently, which isn't too many if I'm being honest. I'm currently in the middle of like 4 books right now and said I am going to finish these books first before I film a wrap-up. And I changed my mind. Are you surprised at this point?
Nope.
I mean, that might be like a couple more weeks before I finish those books, so I thought I might as well just review the ones I've read so far. I do have a book haul planned. I don't want to put up 2 book hauls back to back. So you're getting some book reviews from me. I mean, this isn't going to be like the most fun set of book reviews because I haven't loved a book since The Wisdom of Crowds, which I read in September. I mean, it kind of makes sense because none of these books are like epic fantasies. I stepped out of my comfort zone and I paid the price. Lesson learned. Stay in your shell. Don't try new things. Before we dive in, I want to give a thank you to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Ana Luisa's mission is to create sustainable jewelry without the luxury markup. They are also a carbon neutral company and their 100% gold pieces are made from real recycled gold. Today I am stacking some beautiful pieces together. The first one is this necklace that I'm wearing, which is called Hannah K. It has a very dainty feel to it, but this square plate stands out just enough. It's engraved with a star, and they have many other necklaces like this that are engraved with different things. It's actually really perfect for layering other necklaces too. And the bling here on my finger is called Kona. It's an adjustable gold ring with an open band featuring a pattern that represents the infinite. This ring is actually dipped in 14K gold, which adds a modern touch to your ring stack. And lastly, the gold bracelet that I have right underneath the ring, which match perfectly together, is called Meridian. It's another adjustable and is a cuff design. It has an engraved pattern all around. The threading gives just a nice touch of texture. I think all of these pieces give a very classy, timeless look and can be styled in any way you like. My style is I don't have one, so it works great. They have a variety of jewelry on their website, from necklaces, rings, bracelets, and earrings. Anyone looking for something specific will definitely find something, as they have so many different designs and you don't have to break the bank because their prices are very reasonable. I absolutely recommend checking out Ana Luisa. They are currently running the biggest sale of the year. Buy one, get one 60% off. You won't want to miss it. They make perfect gifts for your loved ones and for yourself. So thank you, Ana Luisa, for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so I'm actually going to start with the book that I enjoyed the most, and that was Certain Dark Things. I am so happy to have another Sylvia Moreno Garcia book under my belt. I accomplished my goal, and I call that a success. This is a vampire story, and I know that word can give you like that dreadful Twilight vibes all over your body, but this is not a typical vampire story. In fact, it felt like an old noir film, which I freaking love, and I kind of pictured it like that. Like, you could literally have taken the vampires completely out of the book and still had a relatively good crime drama, which is talent. So in this world, vampires made themselves known to humanity a few decades ago, and since then they have been hunted and feared. But some of them escaped, deciding to spend their lives in cities where like vampires receive more leeway, I guess, like places like Mexico, where the story takes place actually. The vampires strive in Mexico for all their different tribes. Otto, one of our main characters, because we follow 2, is the heir to a tribe who got the shit end of the stick. She's decided to run away to vampire-free Mexico City and befriends a human companion who is a homeless boy named Domingo, my sweetheart, when she's followed into the city by the other vampires that hunt her. And even the human mob begin to take interest. I mean, it's their city and they will have none of it. So there's lots of drama.
Drama, my favorite.
The world building in this book felt very thorough and well thought out and believable. I loved the creative inclusion of vampires based on mythology. That was so unique, and they're from like different parts of the world, so there's lots of lore to download. I really liked the main characters for the most part. I thought they were both very well developed, and even though there were some really exciting action sequences, I did find the plot to drag in the middle, and the end of the book was very fast. I was actually pretty disappointed by it. I was really invested in how it was all going to wrap up, and it just like happens with no further explanation or closure. So maybe go into it with that in mind, that it's going to end kind of in an open-ended way. But I really like this overall. I give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Maybe like it's very close to 4, but I'd recommend it for those of you who are looking for a unique vampire story. This is one where like I wouldn't mind getting a physical copy because of how unique it was. Up next, I read The Death of Jane Lawrence. This was actually my most excited book. I was so pumped for it. It's an adult gothic historical story. It sounded luscious AF. The story is about a young woman named Jane. She is pragmatic, logical, and gifted with numbers. And the complete opposite of me, I cannot math. Throw some math problems at me and I'll sob into fetal position. Her life gets turned upside down when she arranges a marriage to Dr. Augustine, the town surgeon, and apparently the sole resident of Lindridge Hall, which is most definitely not a super spooky haunted house on the edge of town. Also, I want to mention this marriage is not based off of love. It's all a calculated risk for security for our main character, Jane. So the beginning of this started off so intriguing and I was excited to see where it goes. It began very creepy and atmospheric. Like even when it came to the surgery scenes, yes, there are definitely very detailed surgery scenes. This book was fairly gore heavy. I liked it. Instead of being like grotesque, it added to the dark atmosphere for me. However, it fell off towards the middle for me, which is weird because that's when like all the creepy things begin to happen. I feel like it was trying to copy Mexican Gothic where it takes a major turn to the absurd. Just a like series of very bizarre encounters with Jane alone and trapped in a house of ghosts. Does that sound familiar? Mexican Gothic. But Mexican Gothic did it a little better, which, I mean, it all is a negative thing. I want to make that clear. There was just something about it, the way it was written maybe, that I got really bored. I mean, I also didn't care for the romantic circumstances. That's typical for me. But then it went on and it became really repetitive. It seems harsh because I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. There are so many great things here, but my enjoyment just wasn't there at all. And then it happened. For the month of October, I decided to try out Moon Called. I realize I'm arriving super late to the party with warm beer, but these covers and the love surrounding this series is very hard to resist. It's an incredibly popular, award-winning, more than 10 book series, and it started off really promising. It's an urban fantasy following Mercy, our main character, who is an auto mechanic and a skinwalker, which comes from her Native American ancestry. She can turn into a coyote, essentially. She is super badass. If you follow me on Goodreads and you saw my update saying that I would love to be Mercy when I grow up. That sounds like a dream. So since she has that power, she doesn't find it strange that her neighbor is a werewolf, her coworker is a fae, and her customer is a vampire. But when a newly turned teenage werewolf turns up on her doorstep, she is forced to step into a dangerous cacophony of situations. There's a cool mystery setup in some really good action. I mean, it's like constant in your face action. It was entertaining enough to keep my attention, but unfortunately, it just didn't elicit any strong feelings of like or dislike. Initially, I thought I would totally dig it. The main character, Mercy, is a tatted up car mechanic, which was really fun and interesting to read. The story itself was serviceable, but I'll be honest, despite its opening, I got really bored. And it's funny because the story should be compelling. It has a mystery, high stakes, hidden agendas, uncertain alliances, supernatural politics. I also didn't believe any of the romantic relationships. Romance is its subgenre, and some of you were definitely like, Holly, why are you interested in this? There's lots of romance, and I get you're worried for me. I love you. Thank you. And though romance is like my horcrux, I won't let it just totally dismiss a book for me. 2 out of 5 stars, 2.5. This is the same situation as The Death of Jane Lawrence. Many great elements. Just boredom took over, I guess. I'm very unsure if I'll continue. I'll just really have to be in the mood for it. So, I have a small stack of all the YA that I own. I don't read much YA these days, so I thought I should just chip away at this stack, unhaul the ones I don't like, pass them along to someone who would love to have them. So I read 2 YA fantasies. I definitely enjoyed one way more than the other. So the first one, This Poisoned Heart. I liked this one. It was really cute and fun to read. It's a YA fantasy following a young woman or teenager. I think teenager, but she's very much written like an adult. Like her maturity level is peak, but she can manipulate nature. She lives with her two mothers in New York City, who totally steal the show, by the way, and she knows a lot about plants, especially poisonous plants. This leads to the main plot where she is contacted by someone concerning her inheritance of a family estate. Like dream come true, right? And then the book chronicles her exploring this family estate to only find out that her biological mother and grandmother had the same gift of manipulating plants, but there remains a bit of a conspiracy involving their family history. The concept of this, so freaking good. A young black girl stifled in the city, but she gets the chance to move to a small town, and her gift with plants is able to thrive like perfecto. And the book really stuck with me once we got to explore the old mansion. It gave me like cottagecore vibes, yet it was a bit spooky too. Plus, the various poison plants were almost like characters, which was really fun. And then the added bonus of mythology sprinkled in left me enjoying myself. Unfortunately, some events towards the end fell flat for me due to feeling like a little far-fetched and rushed, because the rest of the story is really, how do I explain it? Like, open. It's very easy to explore, very easy to assume what might happen. It leaves you, the book was breezy, and then the ending felt closed in. Everything escalates so fast at the last 50 pages. So I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars, and I definitely see myself continuing with the sequel, which recently got a beautiful cover reveal. So I'm really excited to see what happens next. The final book that I'm talking about today is one of the worst books I've read this year, and that is We Hunt the Flame. So if you love this book, I would leave if I were you. I don't want to hurt your feelings, so I hope you have a great day or night. Now for the people who love the spice, get your popcorn out. So I buddy read this with a friend named Jess from Stars Above Jess. She recently changed her name. I'm not sure if her YouTube channel is named that anymore, but I'll link it down below. And we both kind of hated it. Well, I really hated it anyways. We were both like, people we're mutuals with liked this? Like, how? I'm going to go from one negative to another in like list format. So I definitely got to a point where I was hate rating this, which as my friend Jess would say, can be fun sometimes, and it was very giving. I didn't have to search for complaints. It gave them to me on a silver platter. This is an incredibly hyped YA fantasy. When it came out, it was everywhere. And I don't think I really need to explain what it's about because of that. So first off, the romance is really freaking gross. Like, the logistics of it is really problematic and not healthy. If I knew people in real life like this, they'd need to face jail time probably.
What are you people doing?
There's a character death that made me burst out laughing in the beginning, because what was even the freaking point of the character? And then I thought, oh, duh, the beautiful romance. The story is random and there wasn't a purpose to anything. We're told that this forest that surrounds the area is so freaking dangerous that only our main character can go into it, but everyone's waltzing through it later on. Every YA trope you can think of. The I'm going to spy on you while you bathe in the river. I kissed him and he tasted like dates? Dates? Like, what the fuck?
You have got to be kidding me.
The only saving grace is the writing. The author is talented in that spectrum of storytelling, but gosh. Oh, originality doesn't really exist here either. And here's why. Okay, the next part might be like really nitpicky, but I do want to mention it. So the author's bio mentions she enjoys Assassin's Creed, which is a video game series. I was really excited about that, and it's great to be inspired for sure, but not what seems like straight up copying, kind of. So one of the main characters is an assassin, kills a higher ranked dude, pulls out a feather and wipes his blood with it. That's a major thing in the games. Another assassin has a bird that spies. Another thing in the game. There's a character named Altair, which is the character you play in the first Assassin's Creed game. There's a character named Hytham, who's a major character in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Just all of these things wouldn't be a big deal at all by themselves. They're all normal, but to mention it in your bio and then have all of that in the book makes me really sus. I gave this one a generous 2 out of 5 stars. I will be honest, even though I hated this book, the author's writing is what might make me come back if she wrote another book. And that's saying a lot after what I just spewed out of my mouth. Good thing YouTube just like hid dislikes, because now I don't have to see the high number after that shit show. Okay, so those are most of the books that I've read recently. I have been rereading The Fall of Babel with you guys, but I hope to pump out a whole separate video for that. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope to have one more wrap up near the end of December, which will include The Bone Shard Emperor, Metro 2033, a few more, so look forward to that one. Also, do not forget to check out Ana Luisa. The website will be linked down below for you. Subscribe if you haven't and like this video. It really helps me out. So until we meet again, happy reading.